Yo, check this out. Everybody think they know Moneybagg Yo, the Memphis King, the street legend, the one who turned corners into cash. But what nobody's talking about, the people closest to him, the ones who ride with him day in and day out, the so-called family, they got beef, serious beef. And I ain't talking no casual disagreements or petty arguments over who got what chain or who threw the hottest block party. I'm talking deep-rooted betrayal, whisper campaigns behind closed doors, and a plan that could shake the streets if it ever saw the light of day. Yeah, the same crew that's been with Moneybagg through the mud, through the nights when bullets flew and cops stayed lurking on every corner. They're questioning him, and not just questioning, they're plotting. CIH. In the streets, loyalty is currency, and Moneybagg Yo has been stacking it like crazy. But here's the twist. The higher you climb, the harder people watch. The closer people ride, the sharper the knives. And somewhere between sold-out shows, private jets, and stacks on stacks, whispers turned into talks, and talks turned into plans. People don't just want him out of the game. Nah, they want him out of their world. Why? Because power shifts, money moves, and envy. Envy don't care who you are or what you've done. It's a fact the streets don't lie about. And now, rumors are flying, stories are leaking, and everybody from the corner boys to the big-time associates are picking sides. Some say it's about money, some say it's about respect. But one thing's certain, the walls around Moneybagg are shaking, and when the people you trust the most start watching your every move like a hawk, you better believe chaos is right around the corner. This ain't just another rap story. It's a blueprint of betrayal, a look behind the velvet curtain of fame and street life. And the question is, can Moneybagg survive his own circle, or is the very squad that made him gonna try to break him? Moneybagg Yo been on the grind since day one. Straight from the Memphis corners, where the blocks never sleep and loyalty is tested every minute. You've got people who've been with him since the jump, riding out when he had nothing but a dream and a couple $100s in his pocket. And now, suddenly, some of those same people acting like they don't even know him. Streets change, money changes people, and the higher you get, the more snakes start slithering in your own circle. Moneybagg ain't blind. He's seen it all, heard the whispers, seen the stares, felt the cold shoulders, but even he couldn't predict how deep this run of betrayal was about to go. See, it ain't just jealousy over money, it's about control. Some of his closest associates started questioning every move he made, wondering if he was giving out too much or holding back too much. Why he's spending like that? Why he moving like that? They whisper in corners while the cameras catch the glitz, while the fans see the shows, while the world sees the spotlight. But in the back rooms, behind closed doors, it's a different story. Decisions that once felt like freedom start feeling like restrictions. People who once said, "We ride or die," now debating quietly whether they ride at all. It's a dangerous energy, and in the streets, dangerous energy spreads like wildfire. Some of the tension, it's money, no doubt. When you stacking racks the way Moneybagg does, every hand around you starts calculating, thinking, where my piece at? Why he moving so fast? Am I getting left behind? And in the game, if somebody feels left behind, resentment grows. It starts small comments here, small jabs there, but resentment in the street world, it don't stay small, it multiplies. It eats away at trust. It turns brothers into strangers, allies into enemies. And once that seed gets planted in the right or wrong mind, it don't take much to water it. Then there's pride. People around Moneybagg know he's the star, the face, the one whose name opens doors others can't even dream of. That kind of status, it makes folks insecure, even the ones who've been there since the grind. You can't buy loyalty, and you can't force respect. Some of the people in his circle feel like they earned a bigger piece than they got, like their sacrifices aren't reflected in the way he moves or the way he shines. And when you got egos in tight spaces, in close quarters with millions on the table and eyes watching every step, it's a recipe for disaster. But it ain't just about money or pride. There's power moves too. In the streets, control is everything. Who talks, who decides, who moves, who takes charge, that's life and death in some circles. And Moneybagg's circle, some of them feel like they've been pushed aside, like their influence is shrinking while his empire grows. That resentment builds quietly at first, polite nods and smiles masking the plotting happening behind the scenes. But it don't stay polite for long, because the streets got a law all their own. If you feel wronged, you act, or you pay the price. Then you've got loyalty test situations that come up where a true brother shows what he's made of. And let's be real, Moneybagg been put to the test more times than most people could count. But even the strongest can't predict human nature when envy starts creeping in. That envy, that subtle whisper in the dark, it starts infecting conversations. It changes the way people look at each other. It clouds judgment. It turns strategy into paranoia. And in this case, some of the people closest to him ain't just talking, they're moving. Strategic, careful moves, like pieces on a chessboard. Only the difference here is that in the streets, losing the wrong piece can cost more than money. It can cost trust, reputation, even life. Rumors been flying to people claim they overheard plans. Some even say they got screenshots of text messages where people talk about cutting ties. controlling moves, even replacing him as the head of the circle. The thing about rumors in street life is that half the time, they ain't even rumors, they're warnings. And Moneybagg's gotta figure out what's true before it's too late. Because when the people you thought had your back start questioning your every step, the world gets heavier, and every move becomes a test of survival. And it ain't easy. See Moneybagg Yo's lifestyle. It ain't just a brand, it's a whole ecosystem. You got tours, contracts, endorsements, parties, private jets, luxury rides, all the things that most people can only dream of. But that lifestyle don't make you immune to betrayal. In fact, it amplifies it, because every dollar, every decision, every flex gets scrutinized. And the higher you climb, the sharper the knives. People who once celebrated with you now plot silently in corners, thinking, if I can take him down, I can control the pieces he left behind. And while all this tension simmers, Moneybagg keeps moving, keeps grinding, keeps showing up for the fans, for the stage, for the streets that raised him. But the irony, the people who helped him reach these heights are the same ones eyeing him, calculating how to cut him out, how to take over, how to shift the power without getting caught. It's that type of street betrayal that don't make headlines but makes lives change overnight. Friends become strangers, alliances fracture, loyalty becomes a gamble, and that's where the danger really starts. When you've got a circle full of people who could have been family, who could have been brothers, but now see you as a threat or a liability. You gotta start watching every word, every move, every eye glance. Because in this world, hesitation or ignorance can cost more than money. It can cost respect. It can cost influence. It can cost life. And Moneybagg Yo, he's staring at a storm brewed from the very people who were supposed to be his shield, his backup, his rut shield, his backup, his rut. It's a lesson in street life that nobody wants to admit. Your real enemies ain't always the outsiders. They don't always come from the competition, the haters, the random beefs you see on social media. Nah, sometimes the ones who want to see you fall are right there in your own backyard. The ones you trusted, the ones you broke bread with, the ones who watched you hustle when nobody else did. And that's exactly what's happening with Moneybagg Yo right now, his own gang. The people who should be his armor are questioning, plotting, and moving in ways that could take him down if he ain't careful. In the streets. Streets don't wait. Streets don't forgive. Streets don't give second chances. If you blink for even a second, if you underestimate the jealousy, the envy, the hunger for power, you could find yourself replaced, exposed, or erased. And Moneybagg Yo knows that better than anybody. He's survived the corners, the cops, the haters, the fake friends, but surviving the ones closest to you. That's a battle every king fears. And right now, it's one he's got to fight harder than ever. Now let's get real about what's really going on in Moneybagg Yo's circle. Cause it ain't just about cash or fame, it's about respect, influence, and the kind of power that makes people desperate. You see, when you the king, people don't just want to ride with you, they want to sit on your throne. And that's the problem. The same ones who was laughing with him at the corner store, sharing dreams and hustles, now staring at his throne like, how do I take that seat? That envy don't sleep. And in the streets, envy gets sharp cut sharp. And it ain't pretty. It ain't subtle either. You can see it in the looks, the small side comments, the tone in the voice when someone say, yeah, he doing good. Huh, that's the smell of betrayal right there. And Moneybagg knows it. It all started slow. A few people testing boundaries, asking for more than they ever earned, pushing into spaces they ain't supposed to be in. They watch him, they measure him, they talk quietly in corners, building alliances behind the scenes. And when you've got people moving in packs inside your own pack, that's trouble. That's dangerous. Because one person acting shady is easy to spot. But when multiple people start coordinating quietly, that's a whole different level. And that level, it's deadly. Not necessarily with guns, not always with fists, but with moves that can take you out socially, financially, even emotionally. Some of these associates, they think they're smarter than Moneybagg Yo. They see his rise, his fame, his connections, and they figure he can't see through their little schemes. But Moneybagg Yo been in the streets too long to be blind. He knows the look in somebody's eyes when they plotting, knows the tension in a room when people ain't saying what they really mean. And yet, even with all that awareness, dealing with people you call family turning against you, that's a different kind of stress. The kind that keeps you up at night, makes you question who really ride, who really got your back. And it ain't just about loyalty or respect, it's also about opportunity. Some of the people in his circle feel like if they can push him out, if they can remove him from the equation, they can step in, control the pieces, and start collecting the benefits he's built. And in the streets, that ain't paranoia, that's reality. Opportunities don't wait. And in the hustle, you either take what's yours or get left behind. These people watching Moneybagg move, seeing how he spends, who he associates with, what deals he's making, they see openings, chances to flip the whole script, and they're thinking about it day and night. Now throw in trust issues. Once the whispers start, the paranoia spreads. Moneybagg can't just take anything at face value anymore. Conversations he used to have casually now feel like tests, texts, calls, side talks, they all gotta be read between the lines. And for the people plotting, that's exactly the game they playing. They know he's smart, they know he's aware, so they move in layers, subtle moves, like shadows creeping across the floor. Hard to catch until it's too late. And that's why this situation is explosive. Because even a king like Moneybagg can't see everything at once. The tension shows in small ways too. A hesitation here, a missed call there, a glance that lingers to Longstreet people. Read those signs like radar. And those signs add up. They tell stories louder than words. People who've been on the same block for years, who shared nights out, shared hustles, shared wins, they start noticing those small cracks. And cracks turn into chasms when you leave them unchecked. And in Moneybagg's case, those chasms growing fast. Bigger than just friendship or loyalty, they're about power, position, and survival. You also gotta understand, this ain't just about betrayal, it's psychological warfare. Some of the people around him dropping subtle hints, spreading doubt, making him question his own team, his own decisions. Who can he trust? Who really got his back? And the more he questions, the more energy it takes. The more he distracted from what he'd do best: run the streets, run his empire, make his moves. That's exactly the point of these types of plots. Wear him down mentally. Make him second-guess himself, open up opportunities for them to step in. And in these streets, moves like that ain't talked about openly. You ain't gonna find tweets or Instagram posts about, "Yeah, we plotting against Bagg." Nah, this is quiet, professional, street-level maneuvering, watching, waiting, picking the right moment to strike. Some of them probably been thinking for months, maybe even years. They know patience wins. They know a king can't be overthrown overnight, but if you get people doubting him, isolating him, making him game changer. But even with all this plotting, Moneybagg still got his instincts. He's street smart, sharp, and he knows how to read energy. But instincts only go so far. You can sense it, feel it, but if people around you are clever, disciplined, and coordinated, even the sharpest instincts can get tested. And that's the tension building in his camp. Every move he makes, they're watching. Every conversation he has, they're listening. And every misstep, they ready to capitalize. That's why this situation ain't just drama, it's strategic, dangerous, and full of potential fallout. And the real kicker, this ain't the first time Moneybagg's seen this type of energy. He's been in the streets long enough to know snakes in the grass ain't new. But what makes this different? It's close. It's his people. It's the people he trusted when the world was against him. And betrayal from your own circle, that cuts deeper than anything. It changes your perspective, your decisions, even your energy. It makes you cautious, careful, calculating in ways that nobody outside your world can understand. Then you gotta think about loyalty as currency. In the streets, loyalty is worth more than money. It's worth more than fame. And when that currency devalues inside your circle, it creates chaos. People start questioning everything. Alliances shift, and suddenly yesterday's friends are today's threats. That's exactly the storm Moneybagg facing people he thought were solid, dependable, got agendas he didn't see coming. And that agenda could be subtle, could be violent, could be a slow takeover. Doesn't matter. Any way you slice it, it's dangerous. And while all this tension grows, he gotta keep his brand intact, his music hot, his fans satisfied. Publicly, he's the same Moneybagg Yo, the king, the star, the hustler. But behind the scenes, every move calculated, every trust measured, every glance checked. That's the reality when your own circle questioning your throne. It's mental warfare, it's emotional strain, and it's a constant grind just to survive inside your own empire. At the end of the day, Moneybagg Yo knows this ain't about just music or money. It's survival. It's navigating the streets while juggling fame, fortune, and people who once swore they'd ride with him to the end. And that's the ultimate challenge. Because surviving the outside world is one thing, but surviving your own team, that's the ultimate test of a king. That's the ultimate test of a king. Now we gotta talk about the silent moves, the ones that don't make noise but speak louder than words, because in Moneybagg Yo's circle, that's where the real danger hides. It ain't just petty jealousy or casual envy anymore. Nah, it's strategic. People around him been studying every pattern, every decision, every alliance he forms, looking for cracks, weak spots, places to exploit. And in the streets, exploitation ain't just a word, it's survival. They watching who he trusts, who he move with, how he spend, where he lay low, who he talk to. Every detail matters. Every small misstep, no matter how tiny, could be leverage. And some of the people closest to him, they learning how to use it. You see, the hardest part about betrayal from your own circle is that it's invisible until it hits. People can smile in your face while plotting your fall in the shadows. That's why Moneybagg been feeling the tension for months, picking up the subtle signs, the laughs that last too long, the glances that linger, the coincidences that ain't coincidental. It's all signals, and he ain't blind. He know when energy shift, when loyalty waver, when people start thinking bigger than the circle and start thinking about themselves first. And that's the kind of energy that eats away at a team from the inside out. See, in these streets, everybody got an angle. People who was once down for the grind start calculating. They asking, how do I get my piece without getting exposed? How do I flip the game in my favor? And when multiple people in your circle thinking like that at the same time, you in trouble. That's a ticking time bomb. And the worst part, you can't always stop it without making enemies. You confront the wrong person, and suddenly you got more than one plotting against you. You start isolating yourself, second-guessing everyone, losing energy, and in the streets, hesitation is weakness. Weakness gets exploited. And Moneybagg's crew, they got history together. Years on the block. Nights of grinding, early mornings, counting stacks, watching each other's backs while the world slept. But now, history don't mean nothing when ambition and greed step in. Some of the same people who once shared meals with him, who once had his back when bullets flew and cops lurked, now feel like they entitled to something bigger than what they got. That entitlement, dangerous, because when people feel they deserve more than they earn, they start finding ways to get it, no matter the cost. You also got the psychological game. Some of these people subtly planting doubt, trying to make Moneybagg question his own judgment. Who do I trust? Who really ride? That kind of mental manipulation works like a virus. It spreads, infects decisions, slows down moves, and puts the king in a position where he's reacting instead of controlling. That's exactly what the people plotting want. They ain't necessarily trying to take him out violently, they trying to weaken his control. Make him paranoid, make him hesitate. Cause hesitation in this game. That's a death sentence socially, financially, and sometimes literally. And then you got alliances forming quietly. People in the circle who see opportunity lining up with like-minded members start creating mini factions. They whisper in corners, share insights, coordinate, watch how Moneybagg interact with each person, and slowly, strategically, build power bases inside the camp. That's street politics at its finest, silent, subtle, and deadly effective. And when that faction grows strong enough, it ain't about loyalty anymore, it's about control. Control over decisions, over money, over the narrative. And if they succeed, the king could find himself outnumbered without firing a shot. What makes it more dangerous is the way people mask it. They smile, they laugh, they pretend everything cool while making moves behind the scenes. One day, you chilling, next day you realize trust got thin, your influence shrinking, and people you called family got agendas you ain't seen coming. And by then, it's often too late. Streets don't wait, people don't wait, and opportunities to fix things shrink by the minute. Moneybagg gotta play chess on a board where some pieces move themselves. And he gotta anticipate moves he can't always see. Another layer to this. The outside eyes, fans, rivals, other street figures, even the industry watching these moves. When a king's inner circle starts showing cracks, it becomes a story for everybody else. Rival crews, watch and wait, trying to predict moves, trying to find weakness. Industry folks see opportunities for deals, collaborations, or conflicts. And that pressure stacks. Moneybagg can't just protect himself from his own crew, he gotta consider how the outside world respond to internal chaos. One wrong leak, one slip, and rumors turn into headlines. Headlines turn into drama. And drama can cost credibility, clout, and respect. And the tension ain't just about Moneybagg, it's about survival for the whole crew. People who plotting got stakes in this too. Their reputation, their street credibility, their loyalty to other players, it all factors in. And the higher stakes get, the more ruthless decisions become. That's why this ain't just gossip, it's strategy. It's maneuvering. It's watching, waiting, and timing moves for maximum impact. In some cases, loyalty got nothing to do with it anymore. It's a numbers game. And in all this, Moneybagg got to rely on instincts. He ain't naive. He knows the streets teach lessons through observation, and he's been observing for years. But even instincts can't prevent every plot, every betrayal, every subtle maneuver. Sometimes the smartest kings still get tested by the ones they thought were solid. And that's the reality. This ain't just about wealth or fame. It's about the people you call family and how far they're willing to go when ambition and envy collide. Imagine nights where Moneybagg awake, thinking about every conversation, replaying meetings, watching faces, calculating moves. That mental load heavy. It's stress you can't buy, you can't outsource, you can't ignore. And the people plotting know this, they counting on it. They know a tired king make mistakes. They know a distracted king show cracks. And cracks in the street world, they exploited fast, and then you got the loyalty tests he gotta give without showing suspicion. Every handshake, every conversation, every move gotta be measured. Carefully crafted to test true intentions without tipping his hand. That's exhausting. But a king survives by reading the room, reading energy, reading people. And Moneybagg been surviving for a reason. But even a king gotta watch his throne carefully, when the throne itself under threat from the people he trusted most. And this is why the streets respect him. But fear what could happen if the circle fracture. Fully, people outside look at him shining and think everything's good. But insiders know the tension thick, the plotting real, and the stakes higher than most ever imagined. Because when ambition collide with loyalty and envy collide with history, the outcome ain't pretty. It's messy, it's dangerous, and it tests everything Moneybagg built. And what's worse, even if he survive, even if he hold his ground, The trust broken can't be repaired overnight. The scars last, the paranoia lingers, and the streets never forget. People remember who plotted, who smiled while scheming, who had loyalty but also ambition bigger than the bond. And that memory, it shapes every move, every alliance, every negotiation from that day forward. Now we get to the heart of it. The tension ain't subtle no more. The plotting in Moneybagg Yo's own circle reached a level where it ain't about whispers or glances anymore. It's about moves. Strategic, calculated moves that could flip his world upside down if he ain't careful. Some of the people around him been working quietly for months, building influence, gaining access, and waiting for the moment where they can assert control. And when you in the streets, you learn fast patience is a weapon, and timing is everything. Strike too early, you get exposed. Wait too long, the king see it coming. But strike right, that's when chaos hits. It started with small things, miscommunications, delayed messages, people forgetting important calls, subtle attempts to make Moneybagg doubt himself. Every action designed to chip away at his confidence, make him question loyalty, make him hesitate. And hesitation in this game, it ain't just a flaw, it's a weakness. Because while you're hesitating, people plotting gain ground. They watch how you move, how you react, who you trust, and they adjust their moves accordingly. That's street chess at its finest. Every piece matters, and every piece got an agenda. And let's be clear, this ain't just about money or respect. It's about control. People plotting. See, the empire Moneybagg built the music, the tours, the endorsements, the connections, and they want in. They figure if they can remove him, even subtly, they step in and take the reins. It's a mentality the streets teach early. You don't wait for permission. You take what's yours. And when ambition and opportunity collide in close quarters with someone as powerful as money, that's volatile. Some of the insiders been forming factions quietly, aligning themselves with each other, whispering, sharing information, testing loyalty, engaging reactions. They watch his body language, the way he talks, the way he interacts with each person. Small details, insignificant to the average eye, but to a king and his enemies, everything. They're looking for cracks. And cracks in a king's armor are precious. They exploit them silently, because the moment Moneybagg sees the hand, the game changes. The tension shows in the energy. Nights that used to be calm, where the crew hung out, shared laughs, now filled with careful glances, side conversations, and quiet disagreements. The people plotting aren't dumb. They know Moneybagg smart. They know he got instincts, so they move like shadows, slow, patient, blending into the scenery. But even shadows leave traces. And Moneybagg, trained in the streets, starts noticing. He can feel when the loyalty ain't real, when the energy off, when people holding cards close to their chest. And that awareness, it keeps him awake at night, plotting his own countermoves, calculating who to trust, who to cut off, and who to watch closer than ever. And it ain't just about survival, it's about reputation. In the streets, respect is everything. Lose control of your circle. People outside start doubting you. Rivals start circling. And suddenly, the king you work to become ain't untouchable anymore. And Moneybagg knows that. That's why every move gotta be precise. Every conversation tactical. Every glance intentional. One slip, one miscalculation, and the people plotting win. Whether through social influence, business control, or just psychological pressure. And the scary part, even if he confronts them, even if he exposes the plotting, it don't guarantee peace. People don't just stop when caught, they adapt. They pivot, they shift, find new angles, and continue the pressure in ways harder to detect. That's street politics, dynamic, ruthless, and relentless. And for Moneybagg, navigating that while running a high-profile career, maintaining fan loyalty, and keeping the peace, it's exhausting. But it's necessary, because survival in this game don't allow breaks. And hesitation can cost everything. Now, some of the plotting comes from envy. People watching his lifestyle, the money, the fame, the attention. They want a piece of it, or at least, they want to feel like they're in control of it. And that's dangerous, because envy clouds judgment. It turns friends into enemies, allies into rivals. They start rationalizing moves that ain't just ambitious, they're threatening. And when ambition turns threatening in a circle built on trust and loyalty, that's where kings get tested hardest. And let's talk about the subtlety of it. This plotting ain't loud, ain't no social media rants, no public calls out, nah, it's quiet. Strategic whispers, careful alignments, testing reactions, seeing how Moneybagg handle pressure, seeing where cracks appear. Every smile, every nod, every casual laugh could be a setup. And in the street game, setups aren't just strategic, they're survival tactics. They measure patience, loyalty, influence, and reaction speed. One misstep, and a king who thought he untouchable finds himself isolated. And it's not only mental, it's physical too. People inside his circle know the streets, know the rules, know how to maneuver. They know when to push, when to back off, when to watch. They're calculating risks, not just for themselves, but for the perception of the crew, for control over narrative, for influence. And that pressure, it's constant, it never stops. It's the kind of tension that grinds you down slowly, wears you thin, makes even the strongest second-guess decisions. And for a king like Moneybagg, second-guessing can't be allowed. Every move gotta hit hard, precise, and fast. Then you got external influence. Rivals, fans, industry insiders, they all watching. When your own crew fractured even slightly, the word spreads. Rivals sniff weakness, look for leverage, and opportunists from outside align themselves with factions inside. It's a chain reaction. Moneybagg gotta not only manage internal plotting, but also anticipate external moves. Every alliance, every conversation, every deal has to be scrutinized. One misread, one false move, and the dominoes start falling. And the psychological toll. Heavy nights spent awake, analyzing, weighing trust, strategizing, predicting reactions. The weight of knowing your people plotting against you, yet needing to maintain composure publicly. Keep the brand strong, keep fans engaged, keep influence intact. That's not just stress, that's pressure that tests mental toughness to its limits. And even kings, even street legends like Moneybagg, gotta respect that pressure. It's relentless. Finally, it's about legacy. Moneybagg Yo ain't just playing for today. He's playing for respect, for influence, for the streets that raised him, for the empire he built. And when your own circle turn against you, that legacy at risk. That's why every move gotta be calculated, every trust measured, every threat anticipated. Because in the end, surviving your enemies is one thing, but surviving your own people, that's what separates kings from the rest. Listen, if you've been watching closely, you already know the streets don't forgive, and loyalty don't come easy. Moneybagg Yo built an empire from the ground up, but even kings gotta watch their backs, especially when the ones closest to them start plotting moves behind closed doors. And that's the reality of street life. Trust is earned, respect is tested, and every move gotta be calculated. So here's the lesson for anyone watching. Never underestimate the power of loyalty. Never ignore the whispers, and always pay attention to the energy around you. People will smile in your face, nod at your success, but deep down, ambition and envy might be creeping in, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So here's what you do: stay aware, stay sharp, and never let anyone make you doubt your own instincts. Watch the signs, read between the lines, and always move like a king, even when the circle gets messy. And if you really want the inside scoop on every twist, turn, and betrayal in the streets, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe, tap the notification bell, and stay locked in. Because the drama, the loyalty tests, and the behind-the-scenes moves of Moneybagg Yo's world, that's the content you can't afford to miss. Don't just watch the story, be part of it. Be part of it.